Throughout time, character archetypes have been implemented into literature. Character archetypes have a significant effect on the plot of a story as well as the personality of the characters. The archetype I will compare and contrast in both The Alchemist and my chosen text, I'm Number 4, is the Mentor. Both stories follow the 17 stages of the monomyth, which is a common template of a broad category of tales and lore that involves a hero who goes on an adventure and, in a decisive crisis, wins a victory. The Alchemist tells the story of a young shepherd named Santiago who is able to find a treasure beyond his wildest dreams. Along the way, he learns to listen to his heart and, more importantly, realizes that his dreams, or his personal legend, are not just his but a part of the soul of the universe. In this book, there are two mentors, Melchizedek and the Alchemist. Although Melchizedek only appears briefly in the book, he plays an important role as he introduces several of the key concepts that we see repeated throughout this Alchemist. Santiago's mentors condemn fear. They describe it as a product of misunderstanding how the universe treats pursuing their personal legends. Fear, they suggest, should become irrelevant, even in the face of death, if you faithfully pursue your dreams. I'm Number 4 follows the story of John Smith, a 15-year-old from the planet Lorien, and his sea-pan, Henry, as they run from the Mogadorians, another alien race that is hunting John, and 8 other teenage Lorics residing on Earth. These 9 teenagers are members of the Guard, a group of Loric people who are gifted with legacies. The Sea-pan are Loric people who are not gifted with these legacies. They are the protectors and mentors of the young Guard members. The Guard and Sea-pan have only one aim, to restore their race and the planet they call home. In the third stage, Supernatural Aid, the mentor will present the hero with one or more artifacts that will aid them later in their quest. Henry's purpose is to protect and teach John what he needs to know to fight the Mogadorians. Throughout this stage, Henry teaches John how to control his legacies. In this stage, Henry describes what his inheritance is and how it will aid him along his journey and quest. He describes the inheritance as what's given to each guard at birth by his or her keeper when the guard is coming into his or her legacy. John is impatient and tries to see everything inside it. However, Henry stops him, saying, "There are things you aren't ready to see." This teaches John a valuable lesson, that everything will come into your life when it's meant to, not at the same time. Melchizedek tells Santiago about personal legends, the soul of the world, and beginner's luck. He also gives Santiago 2 magical stones, and Thummim, which represent yes and no respectively, to help guide him in his journey. Those powers helped him convince Santiago to pursue his dream of finding a treasure near the pyramids in Egypt. Even when Melchizedek is not physically present, the magical stones he gives Santiago help Santiago remain hopeful and focused as he pursues his personal legend. In this stage, Woman's Temptress, the hero is tempted to stray from his quest by some offer of personal gain, normally in the form of a beautiful woman. When John and Henry arrive in Paradise, Ohio, he advises John not to get into any relationships. He advises John not to do so as they are constantly on the run from the government and the Mogadorians, and the Mogadorians could use that as bait to catch you. The effects it has on John as he realizes that Henry is right but can't help fall in love with Sarah. This becomes trouble later in the book when Six, his dog, and Sam have to leave Paradise. In this stage, Santiago falls in love with a woman from the Oasis called Fatima. After falling in love with Fatima, Santiago is tempted to give up on his quest and spend his life with her. The Alchemist advises him to do otherwise, saying that all women of the desert are used to seeing their men leave and waiting for them to return. This affects Santiago as it changes his perspective and he continues on his quest for Egypt, knowing that Fatima will wait for him and love him when he returns. In conclusion, in both novels, the purpose of the mentors is to teach and guide the hero on their quest. Henry, unlike the Alchemist and Melchizedek, has a more straightforward and hands-on approach to teaching John. As John's sea-pan or protector, he does everything he can to protect John. He is suspicious of others, believing they have an ulterior motive. He is also a person who sees things as they really are. He is also a quiet but protective character in I'm Number 4. He helps to create the main theme of the novel, that there is always hope and that it is the last thing to leave. Melchizedek plays a role in the lives of everyone who chases after his or her personal legend. He provides people with a reason to continue chasing after their personal legend in times of doubt, as he does with Santiago in the novel. Even when Melchizedek is not physically present, the magical stones he gives Santiago help Santiago as he searches for his personal legend. The Alchemist mainly functions as a teacher to Santiago through experience more than verbal instruction. The Alchemist's teachings connect the book's dominant metaphor of alchemy, transforming one element into another, more valuable element, to Santiago's own journey. The alchemist's wisdom connects him to the mystical soul of the world. This connection provides him with supernatural ability and allows him to guide Santiago on his quest to understand the soul of the world. Fear and always trying comes up throughout Santiago's trip as the biggest obstacle to Santiago successfully reaching his personal legend. Santiago's respected teachers from Melchizedek to the alchemist strongly criticized fear, describing it as a product of a mistake in understanding of how the universe treats those chasing after his personal legend. Fear, they suggest, should become unrelated and unimportant.